Hey guys, welcome to the Sports Central radio show, and in this episode we're going to talk about can anyone win the Triple Crown this year, American League or National League, hitter or pitcher. Mostly we're going to focus on hitters, but I will take a look at pitchers as well. And there's been 16 Triple Crown winners in the history of the MLB, and the last one of course being in 2012, but before that, 1967 was the last Triple Crown winner, Carl Yastrzemski of the Boston Red Sox. So we already had a Triple Crown winner this year, actually, in American Pharoah for horse racing, and that was a long drought. Not that we'll be ending a long drought now, but besides Cabrera, we have not had one in a while, so this is a very rare thing. If you don't know what it is, you have to lead your league, which is either the AL or NL, in batting average, home runs, and RBIs. It's not official for pitchers, but what it would be, lead in wins, earned run average, and strikeouts. So some people think it's wins, earned run average, and saves. That would never happen because you really can't lead in if you lead in saves, you won't be qualified for ERA because you wouldn't have pitched enough innings probably, and you probably won't have enough wins, and if you do, you'd have a ton of blown saves. So that's why it's strikeouts instead of saves. So let's start off with the American League, and let's start off with hitters. So first, let's take a look at the top 10 in batting average. So this year, it's not really that tight for batting average. So even looking at number 10 at Altuve, he's 27 points back. He's not going to win the batting title unless the other 9 guys all get injured, which is very unlikely. So let's just go through the top 10 and see who has a chance to win the Triple Crown. So first, let's start off with batting average. 326, Jason Kipnis, but he only has 6 home runs, so we'll just count him out now. Prince Fielder, also 326. 17 home runs, and the leader has double that, so we're going to have to count him out as well. Nelson Cruz hitting 324, 35 home runs, leads the MLB, and 73 RBIs. 2 points behind batting average. He can pick that up in one day. He leads in home runs, and in RBIs he's very close to the top. So we'll take a look at him, and we're definitely going to have to keep our eye on Nelson Cruz. So Eric Hosmer, 319, only 14 home runs though. Lorenzo Cain, 318, only 12 home runs though. Xander Bogaerts, 315, only 3 home runs though. Michael Brantley having a good year this year. He also had a good year last year, but he's hitting 312, only has 8 home runs though, so we'll have to count him out too. And then hitting 306, Jose Iglesias, 2 home runs though, we have to count him out. Mike Trout hitting 301, but he has 33 home runs. So isn't he still in it since he's only 2 back of Cruz and 71 RBIs, which is also 2 back of Cruz? Hitting 301, 25 points back. I'm never going to count Mike Trout out, but it's going to be tough. So we'll keep an eye on Mike Trout, but just know it's as far as batting average goes, he has a very outside chance, and it would be surprising if he won. And then Jose Altuve at hitting 299 with 9 home runs and 49 RBIs. So now let's take a look at the home run leaders and see if Cruz and Trout are near the top. So Nelson Cruz is first in home runs, as we already discovered. He is only 2 points behind the leader in batting average, so he's still in it as of right now. Chris Davis, 34 home runs, but he's hitting 259. Trout is third in home runs with 33, so he's definitely right there. But again, 25 points back. If I had to make a top 5 list for American League batters, Trout would certainly be in it, but I still don't see him really having much of a chance. He actually might be number 2 on that list, but behind Cruz, but it's still going to be tough. 25 points is a ton this late in the season. Pujols, 31 home runs, Teixeira, 31 home runs, Donaldson, 31 home runs. So Donaldson leads all those guys with hitting 292, followed by Teixeira, 261, and Pujols rounds out those 3 hitting 253. None of them are close enough. Donaldson 292, maybe he'd be on a top 5 list, but again, he's even farther. He's 34 points back, which is it's just going to be too much to make up, and especially at this point in the season. JD Martinez, 30 home runs, hitting 284. Again, too far back, but he's doing pretty well. Jose Bautista hitting 241, but he does have 27 home runs. Ortiz and Dozier have 25 home runs as well, hitting 263 and 246. Also want to mention Manny Machado, 25 home runs, but at this point he's 10 behind Cruz. That's going to be a ton to make up. Is hitting 296 though, and then A-Rod and Encarnacion follow him. So now here are the RBI leaders. Chris Davis, 88. He's second in home runs and first in RBIs. Definitely formula for success, repeating the success he had in 2013, but 259, he's just not a guy who's going to be able to win the batting title. Josh Donaldson has 86 RBIs and 31 home runs, so top 5 in both of those. And it's going to be very tough, though, to win the batting title. He's hitting 292, again, just too far back. Kendry Morales, 82 RBIs, been great for the Royals this year, but only 13 home runs, and hitting 289, it's going to be tough. Jose Bautista, again, on the home run list and the RBI list, but the average isn't there. Same with Teixeira, same with JD Martinez. Here's our old friend Nelson Cruz, though. So he's first in home runs, being chased down by Chris Davis, but when you're first, you're still the favorite. Nelson Cruz hitting 324, only 2 points back. I'm not going to say he's the favorite over Kipnis and Fielder, who are hitting 326, but he's definitely right there. But the problem is, he has 15 fewer RBIs, and that is a lot to make up. So here are the 6 guys in front of him. Chris Davis, who's hot right now, and his team's definitely in the hunt. Josh Donaldson, team is more than in the hunt, and he's also a pretty hot player right now. He has been the whole season. Morales, he's going to be playing the whole season unless they clinch playoff berth, and have nothing to play for like the last week of the season. But that doesn't really matter too much. Bautista in the hunt, Teixeira in the hunt. The only guy not in the hunt ahead of him is JD Martinez, but even if he does pass Martinez, he'll only be in 6th. So odds are Cruz will not win the Triple Crown, but still definitely could get 2 out of 3 like Matt Kemp a few years ago, and definitely has a shot at it. I will say that 15 RBIs is a lot, but if you're gonna be far behind and have to catch up in any of these, RBIs is definitely easier than home run or batting average, in my opinion. Some people say batting average, but you can have like a career. I could see Nelson Cruz getting 7 RBIs in one game, with just one more game the rest of the season. Then he'd only be 8 back, and then he'd really be in contention. But he does need a career day. And then you see Ortiz 72, again Trout was 71, and Hosmer was 70. So if I had to make a list, I'd put Nelson Cruz number 1, Mike Trout number 2. And if I had to put someone number 3, probably Josh Donaldson, hitting 292, better than any other contenders. But, so yeah, Cruz has a chance. We'll have to load up some RBIs, and then Trout and Donaldson would be the next best, but I don't think they're actually going to have a chance at getting it. So guys, now let's take a look at the National League. So let's start off with batting average. You see Goldschmidt. I actually almost made a video on this about 2 months ago, whether he had a chance at the Triple Crown or not. He was leading in batting average, which he still is at 341. He was tied for first in RBIs, which I think he's somewhere around there now. We'll look in a second. But home runs, he was the problem. He was like 5 back. Now he's 8 back of Bryce Harper, who has 30, and I believe is in first. We'll check in a second. But Goldschmidt definitely has a shot. He's kind of like Cruz. He has that one weak spot. It's home runs for him instead of RBIs. But batting average, I'd almost be a little surprised if he doesn't take it home. RBIs could go either way. And then home runs, it's going to be tough. Let's say Bryce Harper gets hurt, with Stanton hurt as well. He definitely could have a shot at this, because I do think he will hit 8 more home runs this year. I would definitely take that compared to him not hitting 8 more home runs this year. But Goldschmidt, let's take a look at him and definitely follow him. Bryce Harper, hitting 332, 30 home runs, and 73 RBIs. So let's say Goldschmidt gets hurt today, out for the rest of the year. He will be, and he's not going to be qualified for batting average. So Bryce Harper leads in that. Yes, Posey is good, and he's had a good year. D. Gordon's fallen off a little bit, and then it would be Bryce Harper, number 1, if Posey doesn't catch him. But 30 home runs, he leads in that, assuming no one catches him or Stanton doesn't come back or any of that. But the thing is, he's still 13 behind in RBIs, and Arenado's right there with Goldschmidt, so that would be tough. Same situation as Cruz for Bryce Harper, but that's if Goldschmidt gets hurt. Buster Posey hitting 330, but only 16 home runs. D. Gordon hitting 327, 2 home runs. He's not really a power hitter. LeMahieu hitting 320, 5 home runs. AJ Pollock, much underrated. Both the Diamondbacks. Goldschmidt, people think he is great, and he is phenomenal. No, I'm not going to say out of this world, but he's a top 5 hitter in this league. I'd say Trout, Harper, Goldschmidt, Donaldson, not necessarily in that order, and I don't know, another hitter, maybe Nelson Cruz this year, or Prince Fielder. I'd probably go Nelson Cruz. And then you got Yeah, AJ Pollock, I just said that about Paul Goldschmidt, but AJ Pollock, people think he's like okay to good. This guy's great. He's a number 2 hitter, or number 2 or 3 hitter on a great team, as best hitter goes, not like in the lineup. But he's number 2 hitter for Diamondbacks, I believe. Hitting .313, 12 home runs, and 50 RBIs. So we got some Giants who have really carried them this year. Matt Duffy hitting .310 and Panic hitting .309. Duffy 10 home runs, Panic 7 home runs. Votto hitting .307 with 21 home runs, but he's just too far back of Goldschmidt and Harper batting average-wise. And then you got Yunel Escobar hitting .304. So I see a lot of duos or even trios in here. We have the Nationals with Harper and Escobar, both in the top 10. You got the Giants with a Duffy Panic trio, but they also got Posey, so they got 3 guys in here. And then you also got Goldschmidt and Pollock in the top 6. And then you have D. Gordon and LeMahieu who are in here. LeMahieu's also got Arenado for the home runs and RBIs, and then you got D. Gordon's teammate Stanton's in the RBIs and home runs. But let's take a look at home runs next and see how much of a chance Paul Goldschmidt and Bryce Harper really have. So Bryce Harper is first in home runs and second batting average. Makes for a good mix so far, just like Nelson Cruz. Batting average, he is not really far back, but 9 points isn't going to be made up in one day. So yeah. And then you got Todd Frazier. He's only hitting .262, so out of the question. He's really just in it for home runs with 29. Nolan Arenado, I've been following him throughout the season. He really wasn't quite this high, tied for second for home runs. He was mostly he's in the top 10, but he's more like 8, 9, 10 area. And then he was top 5 for RBIs, but he's really improved his home run hitting. 86 RBIs, tied with Goldschmidt. But he's only hitting .280, which is a good average, but you're not going to win the batting title hitting .280 nowadays. Giancarlo Stanton, been out for like 6 weeks or something like that. Still fourth with 27 home runs. Hitting .265. His average was way down from last year, I believe, or it was at one point, though he did improve it. But he's not going to be able to get it. 27 home runs, 67 RBIs. If he stayed healthy, he could definitely get both home runs and RBIs, I think. But batting average, even if he was healthy, I don't think he would have improved it that much. Cargo, or Carlos Gonzalez, not traded at the trade deadline. And we got 2 Rockies in the top 5. 26 home runs, but hitting .270. Adrian Gonzalez got off to a great start, and I even thought he could get the Triple Crown at one point. 24 home runs, hitting .294 though, not quite good enough. Rizzo hitting .298. Maybe he's got a shot if both Harper, Posey, and Goldschmidt get hurt. I don't think so though. 23 home runs for him. Also 22 home runs for Peterson and Goldschmidt. See, this is Goldschmidt's downfall. How he's 8th in home runs, hitting .341, and he's gonna have to make up some home runs. So Bryce Harper's injury prone. Frazier may take off some games out at the end of the season. Same with Arenado and Cargo. Stanton's hurt, and then he's only 2 back of Adrian Gonzalez and Anthony Rizzo. So I guess it's possible, probably more favorable for him than Nelson Cruz. Still not very favorable for either one though. And then you got Joey Votto, top 10 in both home runs and batting average. So job well done to him. So now let's take a look at RBIs. Goldschmidt and Arenado tied for first, as I mentioned earlier, and they're really way ahead of everyone. You see Posey there, third in that, just like he's 3rd in batting average. If only he had more home runs, he'd have a real chance of that. McCutchen's right there. Adrian Gonzalez is up there, as I mentioned. Frazier and Harper also up there. But if Goldschmidt and Arenado both get hurt, Bryce Harper really has a chance of this. Only 5 back. Brandon Crawford right there with 72. Matt Kemp and Rizzo also there with 68. But as for Goldschmidt, he's gonna have to pick it up on the home runs. That's basically all I can say for him. And so my list would be Goldschmidt 1, Bryce Harper 2, I guess Buster Posey 3, yeah. And then Arenado's hitting .280, yeah, he doesn't have a chance really. Adrian Gonzalez will probably be next, him and Arenado, 4 or 5 if I had to go that far down the list. But that's going to be it until my next commercial break. After the commercial break, what I'm going to talk about, I'm going to talk about the same thing only with pitchers. I'll start off with AL, and then I'll talk about NL. I'll start off with wins, go through the top 10 in that, then earned run average, and then I will go through strikeouts. So this is strictly starting pitchers, not relievers or closers. So just starting pitchers, I will go through those 3 stats. That's all that coming up after the commercial break. Hey guys, welcome back to the Sports Central radio show. Now we're going to look at American League pitchers and if any of them have a chance at the Triple Crown. So one of my least favorite stats in baseball, to be completely honest with you, is wins. And why is it one of my least favorite? It's not quite indicative of how good a pitcher is. Corey Kluber. I'm not going to say he's the best pitcher. I honestly don't think he should have won Cy Young last year. But he has a losing record. I think he's like 9-10 or something. But he's not like a 50th best pitcher. He's a top 10 pitcher in the AL. Even look at number 6 here, Drew Hutchinson. His WAR is minus 1.1. So he hasn't been. His ERA is 5.06. Yet he's 12-2. 5.06 and he's 12-2. So it's not really. It doesn't really mean you're a great or bad pitcher depending on your record. If you have a lot of losses, I think losses is a better stat than wins, because normally if a guy is 2-12, it's almost certain he's a bad pitcher. If a guy is 12-2, he may not be a great pitcher. Hutchinson, even Eovaldi's not great, but I guess he's better than Hutchinson. But so let's take a look at this, and I'll tell you who has a chance at the Triple Crown. Who in wins has a chance. So we're gonna look at the top 10, and we're gonna look at 13 guys because there's a tie. So I'll start off with King Felix, 14 wins, but look at his ERA, definitely not good enough. And by the way, Sonny Gray leads with 2.06. He's in the 8th position, though he's tied for 6th, so that's basically what I'm going by. Dallas Keuchel, not too far back with Sonny Gray, and he's tied for first of wins. Definitely has a chance. His ERA is good enough. He has enough wins. We'll have to take a look at strikeouts. Mark Burley, 13. ERA is not quite there, and the strikeouts are not even close, but he really has been great this year, much underrated. If you watched my DraftKings video, I actually had him in one of those. Colby Lewis, ERA not even close. Colin McHugh, ERA not even close. So 2 Houston pitchers in the top 5. Drew Hutchinson, Eovaldi I already talked about. Sonny Gray, 12 wins, so he's 2 back, but you can make up 2 wins in this amount of time. But his ERA leads the AL, so he's definitely got a shot. It's really going to come down to the strikeouts. Carlos Carrasco, now we're with 11 wins. ERA is not quite good enough. Believe it or not, Chris Sale's ERA isn't good enough. And then the other 3 guys, Volquez, Price, and Richards. Volquez and Richards are pretty good, but their ERA is not quite good enough. David Price, he has the ERA. Strikeouts are pretty good, so we'll see going forward if he has a chance. So now we're going to look at earned run average. Sonny Gray, 2.06. He has 12 wins. He's kind of in this, but let's see if he really has a chance when we look at strikeouts. Kazmir, 2.12. Only 6. Look at that, 6 and 7. If you told me if I was just picking pitchers based on wins and losses, I wouldn't take a 6 and 7 guy number 2 overall in the AL. Not saying Scott Kazmir is a number 2 overall pitcher in the AL. Definitely top 10 though to me. Dallas Keuchel, 2.36. He tied for the lead in wins. Though he's in third, he is 0.3 back of Gray, but at this point you can catch up that much. Price, 2.41, but only 11 wins. That will be tough. And then Santiago, no chance. Archer, good year, but no chance. And then the rest of them, I'd say that there's probably about 4 guys who it's even possible to win ERA. Gray, Kazmir, Keuchel, and Price. I would say either Gray or Price. I guess I kind of have to include Kazmir because he's so close right now. But Price, because he's just I think he's probably the second best or best pitcher in the American League, probably. Or at least out of these guys. Sonny Gray's much underrated, and I respect him a lot. I think he doesn't get the credit he deserves. Look at his WAR. 6.4, it's tremendous. But the thing with Dallas Keuchel, he has like a 1.3 or something like that ERA in Houston. So if he only pitched in Houston, his ERA would be the best in the MLB, even way better than Zach Greinke's. But he doesn't. I'm not going to say struggles on the road, but he's about a moderate, maybe slightly above average pitcher on the road. So that's going to be big going forward. He's a game 1 type pitcher. Even now that they have Kazmir, that's a great duo there, and you saw Colin McHugh earlier, so they look great with the pitching. But he's a game 1 pitcher still. So if game 1, if they're the 3 seed or they get a wild card, they will not be playing at home at all unless there's some upsets, or at least not in the first round. So at home for game 1, but we'll see how it plays out. That's down the road. But guys who have a chance at I only see 4 guys who have a chance at the ERA: Gray, Kazmir, Keuchel, Price. Obviously, Kazmir isn't going to get the wins. Keuchel definitely could. Gray has a chance, and Price has an outside chance. So those are our 3 guys. Gray, Keuchel, and Price. Now let's take a look at strikeouts. So Chris Sale leads in strikeouts by a lot. Well, Chris Sale, and then it's Archer and Kluber, kind of close, and then there's a huge drop-off right there. And either one of those guys are the three we're really looking at. And then the next best is he 50 back? He's almost 50 back, 46 back, Carrasco and Price. So yeah, Price, I don't know if Sale, Archer, and Kluber all get hurt. Sale and Kluber could get shut down for the last few weeks because their teams aren't going to make it, so I might save their arm. I don't know about Archer. The Rays are still kind of in it. So yeah, Price could have a chance if they all shut them down, but I still don't see it happening. He'd have to go on a great streak, but he's pitched well with the Blue Jays so far. And then you see Keuchel, the other guy we were looking at there. He's 11 back of Price and even farther back of Sale. Salazar, King, Felix, Bauer, Sanchez, and you have Sonny Gray there at 11, or tied for 10th with 136. So I say it's possible for anyone to win the unofficial Triple Crown for pitching. Even at this point, I'd say probably not. David Price would have to go crazy, and other pitchers would have to get shut down. His ERA, Gray is 2.06, Price is 2.41. That is a good amount to make up, and he's 3 wins behind the win leader, which is Keuchel and Hernandez, so that's going to be very tough. Now for Keuchel, he's got it in wins, but he's 0.3 back of Gray, which is pretty tough to get over. And for strikeouts, he's very far back. And then for Gray, I think Gray's probably in the best position. He leads in ERA. In wins, he's 2 back, but in strikeouts, he's like 70 back almost, or 72 back. So I just don't see it happening there. So I'd say best chance, I'd say Price is 3rd and either Keuchel or Gray 1st and 2nd. Doesn't really matter. I don't think either one of them really have a chance at all. So now no one has a chance in the AL. Let's take a look at the National League. So the National League is a little different. As far as wins go, there's a few more guys with 14, but it's pretty much the same. But in the AL, earned run average, Sonny Gray has a pretty comfortable lead. Him and Kazmir are pretty far ahead of Keuchel and Price. But they're not blowing anyone out like Zach Greinke is. So it's going to be a little harder to win the Triple Crown if Zach Greinke doesn't end up pulling it out. So let's take a look. Bumgarner, Arrieta, Cole, Waka, all with 14 wins. By the way, Bumgarner and Greinke, I looked at this morning, had 13 and 12, so they both got wins today. And also, they both went yard. Bumgarner's 4th home run of the year. Zach Greinke actually hit a 2nd, so very impressive there. Anyway, Bumgarner's just a little too far back in ERA, and so is Waka. Cole's having a very good year. He's cooled off as of late, but still a good year. Jake Arrieta, he's much underrated. Him and Gray are my most underrated players, for pitchers at least, in the AL and NL. So I think out of those guys, Arrieta has the best chance. But Zach Greinke, 13 and 2, 1.58, only 1 win back. So I think that's definitely on his side. And then Carlos Martinez is right there, but his ERA is not quite good enough. Harvey, Scherzer, Heston, DeGrom. DeGrom's 3 wins back, but he's closest in ERA. So we'll see how that goes. So now here's the big one. I'm actually going to go from 10 to 1 here. And, well, I'll go 1, then 10 to 2. Greinke's 1.58, so we need to watch out for that. Scherzer, 2.73. He's out of it. Cueto's not even in the NL anymore, but 2.62 not close enough. Martinez, 2.59. Harvey, 2.57. Cole, 2.48. And Miller, 2.43. Not good enough. Even Kershaw and Arrieta, 2.39. They have no chance of winning it unless Greinke gets hurt or he just stops pitching. I don't know why you do that, especially when the Dodgers are in the playoff race. Again, my point with win-loss record, Shelby Miller had a no-hitter today, by the way. 5-9. He's not a 5-9 pitcher. He's been great this year. 2.43 ERA, and he's just been a great pitcher, so no reason why win-loss should matter there at all. So the only other guy is Jacob deGrom, 2.03 earned run average. That is not even close to Greinke's 1.58, but he's the only guy who's even relatively close to catching him. So Greinke is only 1 win back. He has a very comfortable lead over, like, Kershaw's 3rd. He's almost a whole run back. Not quite, but you get the point. So a very comfortable lead there. Now let's take a look at strikeouts and see if Greinke is number one in that. We'll know he has a very good chance of the unofficial Triple Crown. So unfortunately, Clayton Kershaw, Greinke's teammate, is going to be the reason why he doesn't win it, or at least part of the reason. Kershaw 205, Scherzer 194, Bumgarner 174, Shields 167, Arrieta 163, Ross 155, DeGrom 152, and Greinke 150. Well, they're right next to each other. But Liriano and Lester also 149, along with Garrett Cole. Let me give Garrett Cole some love. But he's 55 strikeouts back on Clayton Kershaw, and this isn't a big enough deal to just stop Clayton Kershaw, especially when in the playoff race. So they won't do that. And even say Kershaw, just forget about him for a second. It's not just Kershaw, it is Scherzer. He is 44 back of Scherzer. But after that, he's only 24 back of Bumgarner, so he's not that far back of third. But no chance of the Triple Crown, at least in my mind. Maybe some of you think differently, but yeah, that's going to be it for this video. No AL or NL pitchers Triple Crown. Don't see that. AL and NL batting for batters, I do see a chance for Nelson Cruz and Paul Goldschmidt, maybe Bryce Harper. So thanks for watching this video, guys. I really do appreciate it, and hopefully we can keep growing this channel. Don't forget to subscribe to Sports Central which is my main channel for more content, almost daily content as of right now. And this is just my weekly channel. I upload every weekend if you're new. So just to let you know, I did Premier League. All these links will be in the description, by the way, Dad. If you want to watch any of these. And my Premier League video with the global sports commentator was last week, and the week before I did an MLB trade deadline video. So you'll want to check those out. And I'll see you guys in my next video. And tell me in the comment section below what would you like to see, and what do you think about this video. Thanks for watching, guys.